welcome to a review
of a ride
where you see magical creatures and the name's dumb. Really dumb.
Alright, so the new ride at Universal, Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Ride Adventure Creatures, is finally open. Alright, so here we're... Ooh, I better...
Now, to make this review appropriate, so, we should talk about our expectations going into before riding this
Why
ride.
did you have to pick out a wand to do that? Alright, so as previously said, the new ride at Islands of Adventure has opened, so we will be here talking about our expectations at first, and then eventually we will lead into how we feel having been on the ride.
Yeah, my expectations of this ride, when I first heard the idea of it, I'm like, alright, cool, a highly themed roller coaster with a good story that'll flow throughout it. And I was totally hyped up for this. Like, I heard about the track layout and all the buildings and stuff that this was going to be, and I thought that this was like, this was going to be amazing. Dude, it was going to be perfect. A story, highly themed, like,
We do love theming. So back in 2017 when Dragon Challenge closed and this was first announced, the details were very minuscule. All that was really revealed that it was going to be a Harry Potter roller coaster that was highly themed. And so, let's see, 2 years later of construction, they finally announced the new details and that it was going to be themed around Hagrid, which was what most of the rumors were suggesting, because, you know, usually the most talked about rumor is always what it is. And then there were a lot of leaked things about the track layout that we've heard of, and yeah, it's all true. Alright, so before having been on the ride, all these videos of like the queue and stuff leaked online, and so yeah, we watched that because we're interested to know, and then a POV video.
Okay, yeah, I want to talk about this. When I first watched the POV video, I was greatly disappointed. But that's because you don't really understand the ride. I was expecting a story to go throughout the entire ride, to have a heavy story that goes throughout. You mostly just whip by, and the story's very light. It's like, I'll show you some blasted screws. You fly past them. You go some places. It's not like the Forbidden Journey. There's like a narrative that goes throughout it, and like a story that's told that heavily.
What do you mean? Yeah, there is.
You want to see some blast-ended scroots? There they are, for like 2 seconds.
What are you talking about, blast-ended scroots?
That's the whole point of the ride. In the pre-show, he says, I'll show you some blast-ended scroots. You fly past them for like 2 seconds, and then they're gone. Now, before I sound like a person who hates this ride,
No, you kind of already do sound like you hate the ride.
Well, okay, I might, but just wait till later. I'll prove that I didn't hate this ride.
POV video of the ride did leak online, so, you know,
Yeah.
as much as I and Jordan both didn't want to watch this, we did. So yeah, it did. I mean, yeah, it kind of showed us what the ride was going to be, but I mean, we already basically knew from like all the details leaked online.
No, I didn't know, because like I thought that the story was going to be like, it's going to be more like Forbidden Journey, where there's more of a story to it. You stop, you get a bit of story here and stuff. Instead, you like go past a lot of stuff. Like, I was hyped up for all the animatronics that were announced. I really wanted to see those. And then the POV, it shows you that you don't really get a good time to look at them.
Yeah, so like Universal was slow, like leading up to the ride's opening, more details were like slowly released, like including like each of the animatronics, like the giant three-headed dog, the little pixies, and including a Hagrid animatronic, which is kind of impressive.
It does look cool, and it would look better if you actually got to see it. See it more than what you do see, which is like, you go right past it.
Yeah, so having watched the POV video, it didn't really look that glamorous, but I mean, the video looked, this is what you gotta know, like the video is not the same as actually sitting there and riding the ride. And that is especially the case for the Hagrid ride, because like you cannot feel the accelerations, because there are like 7 launches on this ride and all of them are super fast. I'll intro that. Alright, so very recently we were down there to ride the ride, so we'll insert that in right now, so take a look. I caught them just as they escaped.
Dude, you don't know. We are out here, we're doing it. If you don't click like, I'm looking at you, Timmy, in the back.
And don't forget Rodrigo.
We get Rodrigo and Timmy. If you two don't
Ooh, more bikes. Wait. Oh, wow. Wow, we're actually seeing this for the first time, so wow, this is insane for us. Oh, look at that. Okay, according to the POV videos I've seen, Fluffy is apparently right there. I can hear unicorns. Is that your favorite type of corn?
No, my favorite type of corn is Matterhorn corn.
Matterhorn corn.
Nah, popcorn.
Ooh, unicorns. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but the horns can cure athlete's foot. Ooh, look, wood carvings. So, if by now you still somehow do not know where we are, we're in line for Hagrid's Magical Creatures motorbike.
We're not there. We're at your house.
Okay, so I don't know if Jordan saw the wait time sign, but it said that it's about 3 hours, so and he's gone. So this ride better be...
I said I only wanted to wait like 2 minutes. I saw
2 minutes?
like 2 minutes, 2 hours I meant. But
Ooh, look, backside of Hagrid's hut. Yeah, so have I.
I've seen POV videos and it doesn't look that grandiose.
Ooh, look over here, backside of Hagrid's hut for Flight of the Hippogriff. See some pumpkins, some charred, chewed up pumpkins.
8-10 pumpkins.
Ooh, and pumpkins making noises. Ooh, we're selling some food back here. I could go for some gilly water. Ooh, look up there, it looks like magical creature cocoons. Ooh, what's in there? Ooh, fancy berry plant garden thing.
Scary pumpkins.
And yet more pumpkins that have been clawed open. And I keep hearing unicorns.
So you're hearing unicorns.
Yeah.
You might want to get that looked into.
Alright, so here and unicorns, I still keep hearing them, and I can see a show building that was painted to have a forest background. So now here we are at the old Dragon Challenge castle. So I'm interested in what the story for this thing is now.
I know.
What?
In the year 2011, the ancient year, there was a wizard, alright? And he's like, I want a castle.
Boom. Ooh, the Triwizard Cup used to be right here in the center, and now there's a whole bunch of cages. Ooh, and hippogriff murals. Ooh, right here on this wall, there's a callback to, ooh, Hagrid's talking to us, but let's see. Blue dragon here on the wall, and then there's a red dragon over down there, and this person's blocking it, but it does say Dueling Club, so it's a callback to Dueling Dragons. Ooh, pre-show time, wow.
Oh, hello! I'm glad you found the place all right. I've got a very special new room.
Wingardium Leviosa! Hagrid asked me to duplicate Sirius Black's motorbike to take you all to the edge of the forest.
Yes, and that's where I shall be showing some blast-ended screws. You probably all kill each other. That'll be promising. Oh, and I've got some Cornish pixies for you to see. And if we're lucky enough to lure one in, a unicorn.
Ah. Well, I think it's time to give this idea a go. Stand back.
Jiminy! Oh, that's just marvelous, Arthur.
Not bad. I think we're ready.
Right. Arthur's been doing a bit of tinkering with the bike. Making some improvements, you might say. Let's do that for a literally.
Careful, Hagrid. Your dragonfly is for emergencies only.
No.
Merlin, pig!
Let's get them back to the cage. Come on.
My one!
Salamanders, they feed on flames, you know. They do. I wasn't planning to show them to you today, though.
Ow! Put me down! Don't stop that!
Oh, blimey, you've done it, Arthur. That dragonfire could not have been smoother. Well, apart from the,
Yes, well, that's not quite how that's supposed to work. Everyone all right? Let's leave this to me. I'm on the tea.
Oh, fine. No. We'll be there.
Oh.
Let's try and start with these pixies.
Righty now.
Already wet enough.
Oh, now don't you worry about this. I'll see you all down there.
Of course, none of this will happen when you actually ride the bikes. Meet us down in the stables. Might be safer to duplicate the bikes down there, your room. Then you can ride them.
Interesting pre-show, but now we're back out to more line. We're in another long room. We've just now moved into some caves, so there's nothing really exciting here except for winding tunnels. It's basically the same queue pattern that Dragon Challenge followed. Not sure, but I believe this is where the big dragon door thing used to be that the dragon would bang on. We came across another room. It's dark, but there's a salamander banner up here. And over there's one for Cornish Pixie. Ooh, looky here at this, Hagrid's workbench. He's got some big gloves. See, there's some weird sparkly stuff in bottles. And there's a cage over there. Maybe there's a magical creature in it. We got load instructions.
I hope I get the sidecar.
You hope you get the sidecar. What for, Jordan?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know which one's easier.
Now the reason I want the sidecar is it seems like the whole life I've been living in people's shadows, and now I get to live in people's sidecars.
It's starting to smell like a new ride. Oh, they should bottle that up and put it in a bottle, because I will buy it and smell it.
If they start selling a candle, new ride smell, would you get it?
Yes, sir. Came to one more open room, which is hopefully the last. Look up there, I can see shadows of motorbikes driving around. See, there's one right there.
Some sort of safety restraints. I hear they're quite effective. But I must warn you, students, regardless of your passion.
So we're taking the final stretch to get on. I'm just wondering if I want sidecar or bike.
Like, if you're tall, like we're...
Alright, I'm freakishly tall, so I'm gonna go bike. So we're now off the ride, taking the Hogwarts Express over to Universal Studios. So let's see review time. So this ride is absolutely fantastic.
For me, 8 out of 10. It's a really short ride. You don't really stop to look at anything, so that's why it gets an 8 out of 10. Welcome back, guys. As you just saw, we rode the attraction, and there was a very little bit of our review you got, and then our camera battery died.
Alright, so to pick up what I last said, let's see, we were walking into the Hogwarts Express. So let's see, after riding off the ride, I absolutely loved it. This ride is fantastic.
Okay, fine. You get all your stuff out the way.
Let's see, so yeah, I love the ride. Like, as I said in the pre-ride stuff that we had earlier, yeah, the POV video is not the ride. Like, when you're actually sitting there on the ride, you can feel the 50-mile-per-hour accelerations and like all the dips and turns, because there are a few moments where on the ride we were actually like sideways. So I don't know if we said, but so like there's a sidecar and a motorbike, and like as for the scenery and theming, as it was announced, you're just taking everything off the shelf now.
Yeah.
Alright, so as it was announced, I believe it was 1,000 or maybe 1,100 real trees were planted, because it's supposed to be the Forbidden Forest area.
I'm going to start talking about my opinion of the ride. However, that does involve a lot of spoilers, and also my opinion isn't as high as yours. You're like, yeah, amazing ride, flawless, yeah. My opinion isn't the same.
I'm really trying to think of stuff to nitpick, but
I got a lot of stuff to nitpick with.
Okay, you don't have to take everything off
no,
the
this is next. Go with my portion of the interview, where people will probably hate me for saying what I say. So, my first problem with this ride is obviously the story is like barely there. Like it mentioned in the pre-show, you're gonna see some.
Cube, yeah.
It says that you're gonna see some blast-ended scroots, and then in the ride you see one for like 2 seconds. You go right through here.
What
right
is a blast-ended? Whatever you.
The big thing in his hut.
Oh, the big thing in his hut. That was.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that was.
See, it's barely even there for the story. The stories you're going to see those things.
Well, look, when you're in the.
And you go past it for like 2 seconds, and then it's done. That's my biggest problem with this ride. The story is not there. I thought.
What do you mean? The story was easy to follow.
I thought that this was gonna be. I don't mean like what actually happens in the ride. I mean like the actual story that's set up and how it's carried out. It's vaguely mentioned, and then it vaguely happens, which I guess is even. But after that, what happens? Like why you're still going around the forest? I don't know. The story is kind of like that. Another thing I don't like is like how quickly you go past these amazingly made animatronics. The Blast-Ended Screw wasn't that great. But Hagrid, you go right past him. You don't even stop for like 2 seconds to see them. You just go right past him. Fluffy, you go right past him.
You launch past Fluffy.
Yeah, you launch past Fluffy. And then, well, no. The Devil's Snare, you barely see it. I mean, like, there's not much to see. It's just like a few vines going around. The point where you drop down vertically is really good. And then the Centaur in the woods.
The Centaur?
Yeah, it doesn't need to move. But, like, if it moved, that'd be great. That'd be great. But yeah, the point where there's a vertical drop, that is good. I like all the launches. I like the parts where you dip and dive around. I kind of wish that it could have been a more thrilling roller coaster, but that's just me.
Would you have loved it if it went upside down?
If it would have went upside down, it would have needed the big harnesses, and I wouldn't have liked that. I just would have liked it to do something more thrilling than just dipping and diving. But here's something I did like about the ride. Everywhere you go, there's motorbike sound effects, and that makes this ride above average. It makes it, like on my ride scale, I'd say it's It's good, above average. And that's because of the motorbike sounds, which makes it feel like what vehicle you're going on has power. It's definitely a fun experience to ride. It's a fun ride. It just isn't that thrilling, and the story just isn't there. Well, it's pretty much all
the
reused
queue.
stuff.
So like there are a lot of, like, for those of you who've been on Dragon Challenge and maybe even Dueling Dragons if you like went on it that far back in time. So yeah, they reused a lot of the stuff from Dragon Challenge. So a lot of the bear caves where it's just like long.
The caves make
tunnels.
sense in Dragon Challenge because like it's the dragon's lair, but in this ride it doesn't make sense where you're going into the caves. And queues do matter. They set the experience. Like look at Rock and Roller Coaster. The queue makes sense. That is such a story-driven.
Fast and Furious, even Fast and Furious did.
Even Fast and Furious really makes sense. You're going through looking at all the cars, and then you go to board your party buses to get taken to a party. It sets the tone of the ride. It sets up the story. With this ride, you go into a pre-show, which I will admit the pre-show is pretty cool. It just vaguely mentions what the story is, but still cool.
What do you mean? The story's so easy. It's Hagrid. I mean, I just want to know the queue. So like they.
No, I'm not saying that the story's easy to follow. I'm saying there isn't a big story to it. It's just like you want to, like I said it a lot. You're going to see the Blast-Ended Scroots. That's what's said at the start. You're going to Hagrid's class.
So actually, one thing that was never explained for me is so like. As we said, they recycled like a lot of the queue for Dragon Challenge. I mean, yeah, the track and everything was completely teared up, and they started that from the ground up. But like the queue, they reused that. So you do go into like the castle thing again, which it's still unclear what that building is or like what it's used for as far as like the story goes. I mean, there's like tons of foliage and like overgrown stuff in it, so I don't know if it's supposed to be run down or anything. So then like you get in the first room, and then yeah, there's a pre-show with like the Pepper's Ghost effect thing that's in like every other ride pre-show that I know of. This pre-show actually had some interesting effects, like there was getting sprayed with water and also a bike explode.
Ooh, getting sprayed with water! It's not like that's never happened except for on Transformers, Spider-Man, Forbidden Journey, Gringotts, let me think what else. Every water ride, even though that's not really like set up scenes, but still.
And
Shrek!
Shrek, and a bike
Terminator!
explodes and you get blasted with air, and that's cool. I mean, yeah, getting sprayed with water is just kind of, I mean, I don't mind getting wet. Some people really hate it, but I mean, but that was fun. But yeah, a bike explodes and you get blasted with air. That was pretty cool. And then the pre-show ends. But here's the thing. So like the pre-show happens like shortly after entering the castle, and there's still
the
like
pre-show should have been further to the end of the attraction.
And there's still like tons. So when you're done with the pre-show, you wind around in one other room, and then from there you go into the caves. So like once the pre-show's done, there's still like tons of line left, which I don't like that. The pre-show should have been like closer towards the end. The pre-show should have been in the room with like the shadow effects.
It should have been near that point. That room was cool. Hang on. I'll be back.
Where are you going? What are you doing? So yeah, you wind through some caves, go in some room where Hagrid has a workbench, and then you go through more caves, because this is one of the queues where like you think every turn is the last, but then you end up in some other room, and oh, you brought the Disney bus.
2013.
So the final open room before you finally board is a room where there's like wooden boards on the roof, and like you can see the shadows.
That is cool. That is cool.
Yeah, that was a cool effect. You can see shadows through as like Hagrid and I guess Arthur Weasley's a part of the story are like cloning all the motorbikes for us to ride on. And then you get on a moving platform that's moving parallel with your bike, and then you get on and it's ride time.
The Forbidden Journey story makes sense. It's very similar. They're trying to get you to the Quidditch game, but it's really established because you have like tons of show scenes like of the story getting told. You have them talking. You have Hagrid talking about like everything that's happening and what they plan on having happen with you, and then you have the point where you walk through the room with Harry Potter and Hermione and Ron as they say, like, we're gonna sneak you out to the Quidditch game, and you go to the Quidditch game, and that actually lasts for a long portion of time. True, it gets interrupted by the Dementors, but you actually see that, whereas on this ride, it's vaguely mentioned about some Blast-Ended Scroots, and then you vaguely pass by a Blast-Ended Scroot. I guess later on...
Well, you're supposed to see other magical creatures too, you know.
Well...
Which you
I was
do.
promised some Blast-Ended Scroots.
Yeah, you got to see one. Sure, it was for a few seconds, but you got one.
I mean, there were the ones...
Look, is the ride called Hagrid's Magical Blast-Ended Scroots?
No, but does the pre-show promise them? Yes.
And the pre-show also promised maybe a unicorn, which, you know, we gave the spoiler warning, so as you pull back into the station, you get to see a unicorn, so, and I thought that
basically
was cool.
just a horse. animatronic.
Yeah, a horse animatronic with a horn.
It's another special. You see those at Tom Sawyer's Island.
Actually, yeah, those actually are like the cheap horse. It looks just like the cheap horse animatronic at the other.
Yeah, some of the animatronics
At Tom
here.
Sawyer's Island.
Some of the animatronics here were kind of cheap, like the unicorn, and the Centaur doesn't even move. It didn't really need to. It just needed to sit there. But if it moved, it would have been cool.
And you have Fluffy, who I don't know was Fluffy sleeping.
Fluffy, no, he wasn't. He was looking around at you. Fluffy looked amazing. Fluffy, like if you got stopped there, it'd be scary to see him.
I mean, but you launched right by Fluffy.
Yeah,
but
you launched right
you
past
do
it.
still get a good look at Fluffy.
That's all the stuff I think I could say about this.
I'm really trying to think. What else do you? Is there any other creatures you go by?
You go by those little flying things.
Oh yeah, and then so like when you get to before you go backwards, you go under the flying car that the Weasleys have, and like there's some Cornish pixies like all over it. I guess they're dismantling it or whatever. So then you go through a cloud of mist. You go on a very steep incline that was almost straight up, or maybe it even was straight up. I don't remember. And then from there you go backwards, and then after going past the area where the track switches, you get launched backwards. You spiral up, and then you go into a show building. Where it's like, I guess, a dark part of the Forbidden Forest, and then, yeah, the Centaur comes by, and then you get tangled in the Devil's Snare.
How does it go from, like, how does it, like, if you're in the day, does it go to that? I don't know.
I don't know.
They should have had Dementors in there. They should have had Dementors.
You should have had a Dementor in the Forbidden Forest?
The Dementor animatronics on Forbidden Journey look cool.
There is this creature, you keep saying the name, but...
Blast-ended screw.
Oh, but I'm still never going to get that name down.
That animatronic kind of looks weird.
You can see that it's on a thing that spins.
Yeah, and its legs don't even touch the ground.
And also, when we were in, I guess that, I mean, Hagrid's hut is in the queue, so...
Hagrid animatronic, it looks good, but you barely see it.
I'm just trying to say, so like, Hagrid's hut, you know, it's in the queue, it's over there by Flight of the Hippogriff, so this is like...
What? Yeah, you're right. How does that...
No, I'm just saying that Hagrid's hut, it's over there in Flight of the Hippogriff by the queue, and then I guess this hut, maybe it's not Hagrid's hut, but maybe it's just a hut. This hut that's like over down by the Hogsmeade, you know, Hogwarts Express station. I don't know if it's the same thing or if it's a continuity error or whatever. So when in this hut, which that's I guess what we'll call it, yeah, there's the big magical creature, but I mean, my focus was really more on the Hagrid animatronic, which, I mean, its movements were lifelike and stuff. I mean, the face...
I mean, the lip syncing wasn't that good, but that's difficult to get with the animatronics.
I mean, and the face was...
The face looked good everywhere but, like, the lip syncing. The Hagrid animatronic was really good. They should have stopped you. It should have been even if they stopped you, just like, hey, look, it's a blast-ended screw right here. Cool creatures, eh? Okay, keep going. That would be better than you flying past and him just saying, all right, get out of here.
But did you think the story for Gringotts was good?
The story for Gringotts, it's better.
I mean, honestly, because, I mean, I love the Gringotts ride, but I've always thought that the narrative is kind of messy and choppy and stuff.
They're going down to go into a vault to get some money, which...
No, I
mean, like,
understand.
that's kind of based on how you walk through the line. If you stay on the line, the story is actually pretty well told out to you. But if you just walk past that point, actually... I guess not, because you have the dude there, then you have the pre-show, which the pre-show makes it very apparent. It's not just like Hagrid glancing over and saying, I'll show you some blast-ended screws. They're saying, I will take you down to the vault.
Here's the thing, even for the Hagrid ride, even if we didn't have the pre-show, I'd still be able to know what the story is. Like, I mean, same for Gringotts. I mean, like the pre-show in Gringotts where it also has the same Pepper's Ghost effect that Hagrid's uses. I mean, if you got rid of that, I'd still know the story. I mean, yeah, you can still have the fake elevator thing that takes you down, but yeah, I'd still be able to know what the story is. Like, I mean, because both of those pre-shows are like so quick, and it's just like giving me exposition that I already know. I mean, maybe for people who don't know the Harry Potter universe that well, because, you know, I do, so maybe that's just me.
Now I'm going to say some rides that I think I would consider are better than this attraction, just to annoy you.
Mm-hmm.
Forbidden Journey, that is better than this attraction. And then I think I put the Hulk above it, because the Hulk is a pretty fun ride. It doesn't have a story, but it doesn't need a story because that's just the kind of attraction.
Yeah, it kind of does, but it doesn't really show. They try.
Maybe I'd put Gringotts above it. Maybe, I don't know. I think I'd probably, like, at the current moment the ride is in, you have to wait a while to get on it, so maybe I'd put the Mummy above it just because the Mummy never has a long line.
It's a new ride, so people are
going to I guess at the moment, due to lines, I'd rather try to ride the Mummy, but once the line dies down, I'll probably try to ride that ride.
I mean, it's probably going to be the busiest ride for at least a year, because, I mean, look, So let's compare this to another recent new ride, and that would be Fast and Furious. Because
Fast and Furious, the popularity of that ride fizzled out really quickly. So I started to love that ride because like you can just get on it so quickly, and it's just a fun little contained experience.
Yeah, so like Fast and Furious, which opened in like March or April of like last year. So like let's see, I'm trying to think. So like we rode it first during a technical rehearsal, and for that it was 40 minutes, and that was like the most we've ever waited for the ride. And every time we've ever gone back, it's either like a walk-on or no wait, and it's been like that ever since opening because people don't really tend to like it. And yeah, it's a new ride, and usually new stuff is even popular, but not in that case. So since this ride is actually fantastic and well done, it's probably going to be like the most busy ride in the park for at least a year.
Well, Reign of Kong doesn't have that insane lines.
I mean, like, they're still...
That's just because the capacity of the ride.
I mean, they're up there in like the 50s and 60s.
That's just because like the capacity of the ride now slowly affords and sends off.
Meanwhile, wait times for that are still considerably longer than Fast and Furious. So when walking off this ride, I started to think if it was my new favorite ride, but I don't know if I can tell yet. I mean, I do really like it.
Not a new favorite for me. I think maybe the Forbidden Journey is my favorite ride in the park. I don't know.
I mean, this ride really does have everything that I want out of a Universal ride. It's got the thrills, it's got the story, it's got the theming. And I mean, for all the people who have been sick of screens for so long, they'll love this ride.
I'm sick of screens when it's like Fast and Furious levels where it's just thrown there. I'm okay when it's like the Forbidden Journey when it has to be there because of the insane things that's done. I think maybe people are like bashing the screens because they're being like... People are bashing screens because they're just being overused. But like when there weren't that many screen rides, people didn't have a problem with them because they were unique. And then Universal realized how much cheaper it was, and then they just started doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So my final opinion on this ride is above average and good. Not like greatly glorious and whatnot, just good. So, hope you enjoyed watching our opinions, even if they were harsh, in my case. But, we shall go now, and probably ride this ride again. Lumos!